Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel JMPR Cloud Tech, where you'll be learning Salesforce from a learner. That's me, Preetham Angya. In previous videos, we set up Visual Studio Code and built Hello World LWC with input and output. Today, let us build custom forms using Lightning Record Form. Salesforce is all about collecting, processing, storing, and presenting data. They already have out-of-the-box features for all of these. But when you need your own way to present and collect data, that's when you would need to customize. Let's look at customizing forms with LWC using out-of-the-box Lightning components, starting with Lightning Record Form. If you check this video of mine, we had added a VF page on menu object to help Astro to quickly update today's special and type. Now let us create similar functionality using LWC. Open your VS Code and create a new LWC. Let's name it Menu Quick Update. Let's navigate to this URL to look at the documentation of Lightning Record Form. Lightning Record Form gives you a certain amount of control of customizing a form with these attributes. We can use Fields attribute to define the fields that has to be shown. Mode of display defines whether it is edit, view, or read only. The required attribute here is the object API name. If we pass record ID, then by default, form is shown in view mode. If record ID is not passed, then the form will be in edit mode to create a new record. So be careful on what attribute you are passing or not passing. Now let's add this in our LWC. Let's do what we developers usually do, copy paste. We will open the HTML file of our new LWC and paste the template of Lightning Record Form. Object API name and record ID variables are in the default format to load data, so we can let them be. We will rename this to Fields to Quick Update. Now we will define these in the JS file. We will annotate both object API name and record ID with @API decorator. When an LWC is used in record page, then object API name, when defined with @API decorator in this particular format, will fetch the object name and store it in this variable onload. We need to explicitly define it. This helps in building generic components to be reused with different objects. @API record ID also behaves the same way. When an LWC is used in record page, then record ID with @API decorator in this particular format will fetch the record ID and store it in this variable on load. Now coming to the next variable, fields to quick update. We can define this as an array of fields which are imported from Salesforce schema. You can make note of this format as we will keep using this multiple times. Let us go to Object Manager to look at API names of fields that we have to show in the form. Let's add today's special. The type field, last modified by ID, and last modified date. It is a best practice to define fields imported from schema in capital in the format of field name underscore field. Let us add these in the array in the order that we want it to be shown on the UI. Now, before we deploy it to our org, we should not forget to update the Metafile. I had shown the implications of not updating Metafile in this previous video of mine. Do refer it if you have missed it. Let's deploy the LWC to our org. Once deployment is complete, we can open the Lightning App Builder and add our newly created LWC to the menu record page. We will add it just above this VF so that we can compare both of them next to each other. Save the changes and go back to see our new LWC in action. Great, our LWC is working, but looks out of the place here. Let's beautify it so that it blends in with other components. First, we will add a lightning card with appropriate title so that it adds a card with border and background. Next, we will add some padding so that the record form does not stick to the edges. Visit this URL to explore various SLDS styling classes that are available. If we go back and refresh, we can see that it now blends in well with the existing components. Let us see the functionality by quickly editing today's special. By default, we get these two buttons, cancel and save. Upon save, you can see that the record is instantly saved and you can notice the change in details as well. But this VF is not yet updated. We can refresh for the VF to show the changes. This is one main advantage of using out-of-the-box LWC components. It has inbuilt event handling to update standard components like the details page. Whereas in VF, we have to build custom event handling to refresh other components on screen. Now, let's say client wants to show these 4 fields in 2-column layout instead of one below the other. Then we can just add one new attribute in Lightning record form and it updates to a 2-column layout. This layout can be made responsive by controlling number of columns shown based on the device width as well. For now, let us see the LWC blending in well even when it is added in the 30% section of the screen on the right hand side. Now let's see one more attribute, that is mode. If you want the form to by default open in edit mode, then we can define that with the mode attribute. Let's see some considerations. Assume you forgot to define record ID in this scenario. Then what happens is it just loads a new record create form. In this case, as we have a required field which is not present on our layout, it fails. Else, it would have created a new record in this place instead of updating the intended record. So, if we do need a form to create a record from home page or anywhere else, then we should not populate record ID. Let's see another attribute on submit. Let's say Astro wants to default today's special with a prefix every time it is updated from this quick update form. Then what we can do is we can override the on submit button and add our custom logic here. Let's name it handle submit and prevent the default event to write our own logic. We can get the fields available for edit in Lightning record form from this event.details.fields. Let's add a prefix such that we append string and 2 fields. A bonus here is a format that I like to concatenate strings in JavaScript. Instead of double quotes and plus symbol, what we can use is the backtick. This is the character present above tab key in a US keyboard. We can enclose a string in opening and closing backticks, while variables will be defined using a dollar and curly brackets. For me, this is a way cleaner and easier to understand than the above. So let's comment it out. The last thing to do is retrigger the submit action that we stopped at the first line here. So we will use the template.query selector to find the lightning record form element and submit it with the new fields that we modified. Now, if we go back and edit the form, we can see that override take effect. Those were some quick and convenient changes to a form. That's the power of using such out-of-the-box components to build custom LWC. Join me in my next video of the LWC series to learn and build more Lightning components. Please do like, share, and comment below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified of my new videos.